All right, let's go ahead and get started here. So my name is Nathan. I'm one of the onboarding managers here at Jump. I'll be taking you through the platform today. We do hold three trainings throughout the week. Now, one of them is this 101 that you're sitting in right now. We do it on a daily basis. We also hold a 201 training where we go over a lot deeper the features than we typically cover in a 101. So we're able to talk a lot more than just the note taking or the pre-meeting prep. So if you guys are looking to learn more about Jump and what's available, I highly recommend joining one of those 201 sessions. It's a really cool experience for those who can come. And then we also hold an account owner training, which is where we go over the account settings in the compliance tab. So if you are an account owner, you have those permissions, you have access to those tabs, or you want to understand what options are available on Jump when it comes to managing your account, that would be a great training to attend. If you are interested in attending any of these webinars that I just mentioned, you'll find a link that I just threw there where it says register here. Go ahead and use that link and you can schedule time on your calendar to go to one of these trainings. Okay. Now, this is the 101, so we're going to start with the basics. What I like to do here is I like to start with just a basic introduction to Jump before we get into the platform. Then we'll go through how to set up your account. I'll walk you through some user settings so you feel very confident that it's going to work. And then I'll give you the actual demo where I'll be explaining the how-tos of everything from the pre-meeting to the note-taking to the post-meeting follow-ups. All right. So first things first is who Jump is. Now, many of you probably already know this. Jump is an AI platform that's been specifically built for the advisor workflow. And what we're targeting here at Jump is the admin work that you're used to doing yourself or you're hiring somebody else to do. Jump can help you take all of that admin work that you've been doing by yourselves or hiring somebody and help you cut down on the cost and the time that's involved with all of that admin work. Our goal is to help you cut down on admin work by 90%, while we also hope to help you elevate the client experience and then just improve your life as an advisor. The way we do that are through the features that I'm going to highlight today. So before a meeting even starts, Jump can generate what's called a pre-meeting prep note based on info that we find in your CRM. And then when you walk into the meeting, you don't have to worry about taking notes because the note taker's there. After the meeting, we help you with the follow-ups from drafting a follow-up email to the notes that you can sync over into your CRM. And we connect with a lot of different tools from CRMs, financial planning tools, and we're constantly increasing, the different tools that we integrate with. Jump sold its first seat in January of 2024, and since then we've seen a lot of growth in industry recognition, a lot of awards, which has been really cool to see. We also have over 23,000 advisors that are currently in Jump active using it right now. So it's pretty cool to see where we've gone from just 2 years ago with selling that first seat. So, hopefully this helped you get a little excited about using the platform. If you're in a trial, hopefully this gave you a bit more of an idea of who Jump is and who you would be signing up with if you do decide to move forward with us. So let's go ahead and get started. Now I'm going to answer some of the very basic questions that you've probably been asking yourself. First of which is where do I go to log in? As a reminder, you can log into your Jump portal by going to my.jumpapp.com. Okay. And I just threw that there in the chat if you guys want to use that link. What I recommend doing is bookmarking, favoriting this in your browser so that if you need to go to it very quickly to like send the note taker or something, you have that bookmark, that favorite little tag there, and you can just go right to that. Okay. Now, if you're not too sure on how logging into Jump works, let me explain how that goes. We don't ask you to set a Jump username or password. That's not a thing here at Jump. We actually just have you log in through Microsoft or Google. So you can use one of those respective buttons. It all depends on what type of email you use. So hopefully you know that the answer to that. Click on login with Microsoft, click on login with Google. If for whatever reason those options don't work for you, you can definitely use the sign in another way button. What that'll do is it'll ask you for an email. You put in your email that's associated with your Jump account. We'll send you a code and then you can enter that code in. So there's a way to work around the sign in with Google and Microsoft if that's needed. Okay. Now, Because this webinar is really for people that are brand new to Jump, let me go over how you set up your account. And this actually happens automatically. When you first log in, you are asked some questions that we like to call onboarding steps. And we're going to prompt you to integrate with these tools like your CRM, Zoom, Right Capital, eMoney. Okay. So what I recommend doing is if you see these questions now and you're logged into Jump, go ahead and start answering them. It's going to really help you later on down the line. When you get to the end of these onboarding steps, we're going to show you a video and you can just skip the video because you're sitting here with me. So you get the live version of onboarding. You don't got to watch that video. Okay. Now, if you guys are in Jump and you're like, well, Nathan, I don't see these steps, that means you've already completed them. Every new user gets these questions. So if you don't see them, then you've already gone through it and you're all good to go. Okay. Now, let's hop on over to the Jump portal. You're going to notice that I am looking at Rachel Ball's account. Rachel is a fake financial advisor who is integrated with Redtail and Right Capital as well as LinkedIn. So you may see some of those tools mentioned throughout the UI today. I want to go over the differences in seats with you. Now, depending on what your role is in Jump, that determines what you can do. You can you can confirm what type of seat you are by clicking on your name, like I see Rachel in the top right corner, go over to your name and then go over to user settings. When you click on user settings, it flings you right to where we tell you what type of seat you are. And we have two seat types in Jump. We have a full and we have a light. If you're a full, you're probably an advisor. Full seats are dedicated for people that want to use the note taker. They have meetings with people, they need Jump to take notes. If you're a light user, that means that you're probably an admin in your office, or at least you're going to be an admin in Jump, and you're going to be helping with the admin work, whereas you're not really going to use the note taker function of Jump. Does that make sense? So that's really the main difference between full and light. I'm also going to reference full and light during today's training, so hopefully this gave you some better context on how that works. All right. Now, if you guys are following along with me, just as a reminder, we went to our first name here in the top right corner, and then we went ahead and clicked on the user settings option when that drop down appears. Now, we're going to go over here to the integrations tab, and we're going to go through what this tab means, because this is a pretty important part of Jump. So if you guys want to go ahead, go over there, user settings, go over to integrations, and just like it implies, any tools that you use outside of Jump, we recommend that you integrate those tools with Jump. It's going to make your life a lot easier. So what I recommend doing is looking through this page, take a look at the active integration section here, and this will confirm what tools are already set up or you're already connected with the respective tools in Jump. And then if you don't see this under active integrations, you can scroll up there to the top, select on the respective tile, and decide to set up that integration. Okay. So what I'm going to recommend you guys do for the time being is go ahead and start looking through this list, connect with any tools that you use on your team so that you can get the most out of Jump. All right. The next place we're going to go here is preferences. This next step really only applies to full users. So if you're a light user, you can kind of hang back on this one. Okay. Now, for you full users, what we want to do is we want to give Jump access to the meetings on your calendar. So we can send the note taker, so we can generate a pre-meeting prep automatically. So what you're going to do here on this page is you're going to scroll down until you find the section that says calendars. Okay. Now, here in calendars, you're going to see this beautiful calendars to sync box. This is exactly where you're going to start selecting what calendars you want to jump access to. Okay. So because you guys have already set up your integrations, you should be seeing some calendars showing up from this list. And what I recommend doing is ask yourself, when I or my team schedules meetings for me, are they scheduled in Outlook? Are they scheduled in Wealthbox? I met with a team today that uses Calendly. We don't integrate with Calendly, but usually Calendly flings those events to somewhere like Wealthbox or Outlook. Okay, so just kind of figure out where are my meetings and what calendar does G need to be pulling over into the system. Okay, sometimes people do need to select multiple calendars, and you certainly can. Like you can see, I can check as many as I want. Be aware though that if you have a meeting in Google and it's syncing over to Wealthbox, and then you select both calendars, well, we're going to bring over the same meeting twice. You get duplicates. So just be mindful of which calendars you do select. Okay, don't forget to click the save button here when you've made your selections, and you'll know if you selected the right things, if your meetings are syncing over. If you go over here to this meetings tab, right on the left side of your screen, and you're going to click on upcoming. Okay, so just to recap, what we just did, syncing over your calendars, it's directly connected to your upcoming tab. So if everything's working, you're now going to see your things syncing here into this upcoming tab. And this is great. I'm going to go over the benefits here in just a sec. Now, I recognize if you are a user, you're probably thinking, well, how do I get access to my full use meetings? That is something that you would need to set up. You can manually share the meeting. We have a team admin option, which is the most popular, and then we have an automatic sharing option, which I can talk about as well. If you guys have light users, please send a message in the Q&A and tell me that you want me to teach you how to give a light user access to your meetings. I'm more than happy to cover that if that's something I need to go over. Okay. Now, once the light user has access to the meetings or you're a full user and you have your meetings syncing over here, you're going to see those show up here in the meetings upcoming tab. And here's what Jump is now going to do for you. Number one, Jump is going to start looking at the meetings on your calendar and then start automatically generating a pre-meeting prep note. Now you'll find the pre-meeting prep right behind each meeting. So I've got this annual review with Tyler. If I click on the meeting, boom, you'll see that I've got this pre-meeting prep tab here, and then under the pre-meeting prep is the actual note. All of this information that you're seeing was pulled over from Rachel's Redtail account. So when you guys integrate with your CRM and you sync over your meetings, Jump can see those meetings and then go into your CRM, look for pertinent information, and then help you prepare for your meeting by curating this note. Okay. Now your pre-meeting prep automatically generates it's the default setting is usually 24 hours before, so a day before, but that is something you can change. If you guys want me to teach you how to access that setting and change your pre-meeting prep automation, just let me know. Again, I'm more than happy to go over that if people have interest in me covering that today. Okay. Okay, perfect. It sounds like we have quite a few team members sitting on today that have light users, and it would be helpful to show you how to set up that meeting access. So to do that, you will want to go back up here to your name in the top right corner, the same place where we found user settings, and you are going to go over to the account owner, excuse me, the account settings button. All right. If you don't see account settings or compliance, that just means you're an account owner. So you may need to pass this along to somebody that is. But yeah, not everybody will have access to this tab. Okay? You're going to go to account settings, and then we're going to go over to this Teams tab here because we're going to set up a team with that light user in it. Just to give you an example, I have someone on this account named Avery, and I need to put her on this team and give her access to Rachel's meetings. So I'm going to create a team, and then I'm going to add Avery to the team, and then I'm going to change her role from a team member, excuse me, to a team admin. Okay, what this means is if I put someone else on this team, Avery can now see all of their meetings. Right now, Avery still can't see anything because there's nobody else on this team. So I'm going to add Rachel to this team. Go ahead and select her name. Boom. Now, if I click save here and I tell Avery, hey, Avery, you're a team admin over Rachel, Avery would log in, she would go to her meetings, go to her upcoming tab, and instead of seeing her meetings, because she's a light user, she's going to see all of her full users' meetings. That means that she can also see all of the full users' past meetings, which is helpful because now that team admin can help with syncing notes over, reviewing the pre-meeting prep, doing everything before and after a meeting to help the advisor in Jump. There are occasions where people don't find that team admin option to be the best option for them. The main reason is because let's say you have meetings on your calendar that you want to use Jump for, but you don't want a team admin to have access to that. We haven't released it yet, but we do have a private meeting option where you can make a meeting private. But in the meantime, the team admin is kind of an all or nothing situation. So if you do have a concern like that, I wouldn't recommend making them a team admin. If you guys do have that hesitancy and you want me to go over the other meeting sharing options, just let me know. There is another way to work around that so you can still get your light user access to meetings, but team admin tends to be the most popular. Okay. All right, great. So we were talking about pre-meeting prep. We're gonna go back here to the meetings upcoming tab, and we're gonna talk about the next piece that comes with Jump, seeing your meetings on your calendar, and this is the note taker. So we're first gonna go over video calls. When you go to a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting, the ideal experience with Jump is you show up and the note taker is already there. When I say the note taker, for video calls, it's going to be this actual attendee that shows up, just like I have. You can see my name, Nathan Collier. You can see me moving around. You're going to see the note taker join. It's going to have its own name. It usually is your firm's name and the note taker, and it'll be something physically that you can see. Also, the client can see it if they're looking at their attendee list. Okay, so that's what I mean by note taker. Now, for the note taker to just show up to your video calls, the first thing that needs to happen is you need to make sure on whatever calendar you're scheduling your meetings, make sure that you're throwing the link in the event. And this is probably already happening. So when you have a Zoom meeting coming up, right, you make sure and throw that Zoom link in there, or a Teams meeting, or a Google Meet meeting. Again, usually most people are doing this already. This is the first step in ensuring that the note taker shows up to your meeting automatically. Okay. The second thing you need to do is when you're in your upcoming tab in Jump, and you see a meeting, you are going to notice this little note taker toggle pull up here. This note taker toggle, when it's green like this means, hey, Jump will send the note taker to your meeting automatically. And it typically shows up about 5 minutes before the meeting. Okay? Now, if you see a meeting like this and you're thinking, you know what, this annual review with Tyler, I don't want the note taker to show up for whatever reason, you can just toggle that little note taker button off. Okay? Now, this is a preference. I prefer the note taker to default on, and then I can come in for particular meetings where I want to turn it off. If you guys don't like that option, you can default these note taker toggles to off, and then come in here every week, review the button, and decide to turn it on every week. Okay, that's a bit more manual, bit more work. I prefer the automatic option. If you're like me and you want these note takers to default to on, then you're going to go up here to the calendar settings button, which is, again, we're in meetings upcoming. You're going to click on that calendar settings button, and it's going to fling you back to where we were looking at your calendars. So this should look like a very familiar area. Now, here in the calendar section, you are going to see an option that says automatically add note taker to upcoming meetings. This is referring to that little default on or default off. So if you want your note taker, if you want that note taker button to default to on, then toggle this on. If you want it to default to off, then toggle it off. So that's where that setting lives. Okay. All right. Let's go back to meetings upcoming. And let's go over one more thing with the video call. There will be times when you have an impromptu meeting. So client texts you, or you need to hop in quick into like an emergency Teams meeting or what have you. Ad hoc meetings, the note taker will not show up to because it wasn't on your calendar. So when you have an unscheduled meeting and you're in a video call, you will need to manually send the note taker to that call. And it's very easy. You'll be logged into Jump. You're going to go up here to this new meeting button in the top left corner of your screen, and then you're going to select the option that says Send Note Taker to Meeting. Okay? It's going to ask you for a URL, which if it's like a Zoom meeting, right, it's that link that you use to join the Zoom meeting or the Teams link. Like every video call has a link. You just share that link in this box, click send note taker here, and then boom, that note taker is going to show up right there when you click the send note taker button. Okay. Hopefully you guys don't have to do that too much, especially if your meetings are being scheduled beforehand. Usually that really only happens when it's last minute, you didn't plan the meeting, and you need to manually pull it in. Okay. Okay, so that's video calls. Let me know if you have any questions. I haven't seen anything in the Q&A yet. So let's talk about in-person meetings. The in-person process requires you to manually start the note taker. And because of that, we've created a mobile app. So it's easy to just pull out the mobile app, hit the red button, start the note taker, and then it just sits there and runs. Okay. So if you guys want to pull your phone out, I'm going to encourage you to download the app now. Let me go ahead and find that here and just show you what that looks like. It is going to say, I found the easiest way to search for it is if you search jump space AI, and it should show up as one of the first results. Okay, what you're looking for are the logo. So it'll have those black dots. It'll say AI for wealth managers. Okay, that's going to be us. It says iOS on this, but we also have the app for Android. So if you have an Android phone, feel free to follow those same steps. Okay. Once you get the mobile app downloaded, we're going to ask you to log in through the same methods you did on the website. So log in with Microsoft, log in with Google, or log in a different way. Okay. Um, Once you guys get into the mobile app, let me go ahead and use my demo here to show you what that's going to look like. Da, 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 da. Okay, here we go. So you're going to see this red button at the bottom of the mobile app. Okay. And then if you're someone that schedules their meetings in the Today tab, you're going to see all of your meetings showing up here. Okay. Now, if it's a meeting that's scheduled, here's how it would work. The meeting's about to happen, the client's walking into the office or what have you. You can tap on the meeting and then start the note taker. If the meeting that you're about to have isn't planned, just hit that red button. That red button is there pretty much all the time on the Today tab. You can hit that red button. That's going to start the note taker. And then you can lock your phone and start having your meeting with the client. Okay. Now, when the note taker is running, you're going to see these waves kicking up and down, but you don't have to watch it. You can lock your phone, put it on your desk, do your meeting with the client. I do recommend putting your phone on Do Not Disturb so that if you do get a phone call, I have heard instances where people get phone calls and that stops the note taker. So if you do get a phone call, I think it's good to keep an eye on your phone and just see if your note taker's still running. That was a situation I heard recently. Also, if you do answer the phone call, that will definitely pause the note taker. Okay? If that happens, the note taker is going to go like this. Now, the note taker can't really work while you're on a phone call, specifically this method. So if you guys do take a phone call, just be mindful of when you hang up, you got to go into the app and hit that resume button so the note taker can pick up where it left off. Okay. Let me reiterate that. This method that I'm going over here should not be used for phone calls. We do have a phone call feature that I'll go over in a minute, but this would not work. So just so you know, okay? Now, let's see, what other tips do I want to share with you? Oh, when you're done with the meeting, pretty simple. You pull out your phone, you go into the app, you should still see it running. Just hit that pause button there. You're going to stop the note taker, and then you're going to click that submit button there, which basically uploads the media, removes it from your device, and that takes it to Jump, and we start generating the notes for you. Okay. I recommend practicing with this, which again you can do if you go to the Today tab and just hit that red button if you want to sit down and do a quick test with like a family member or a friend or something. Just make sure you understand how it works. Okay. All right. So that is the mobile app. Let's go ahead and go into the website version here because there's another way you can use Jump for in-person meetings. If you go to your upcoming tab and you find a meeting. Let's go ahead and scroll down here. Any meetings where you don't have a Zoom link or anything on the event in your calendar, we're just going to say capture in person because we're assuming, hey, we don't see a Zoom link or what have you. So we're assuming this is going to be an in-person meeting. Okay. What you'll do is when the meeting's about to start, you'll click on the meeting And then you're going to use that red button way up there at the top to start the note taker. Okay. Once you hit that note taker button, it is going to ask for permission, the first time at least, to use your computer microphone. So I do recommend saying allow while visiting the site, and then it's going to start the note taker. It'll show right up here, that box. And as you can see, those waves are kicking up and down. So you know that it's working. My computer microphone is working. The main reason people would use this is if they have their computer out and they just want to use their computer microphone. I see a lot of advisors do this when they meet with clients in a conference room. They'll just bring their computer in, they'll sit at their computer, they'll run the note taker through there, and it works all the same. Okay, so it just depends on your preference if you want to use the mobile app or your computer microphone. Okay. The other way you can start the note taker for in-person meetings is if you don't have a meeting on your calendar, right? You can go up here to the new meeting button, and then what you can do is you can select this first option, which is specifically meant for in-person meetings or dictations. So a client walks in unexpectedly, or I do this all the time. I'll be speaking with a coworker, and I'm like, "Ooh, we should probably have the note taker on this." I'll just click on this button here. Okay, that'll start the note taker. Again, you'll see that running here in the top right corner, and boom, it's working. Okay, a couple tips for you. If your computer falls asleep, that will stop the note taker. So make sure you can keep your computer awake. You're more than welcome to navigate to other tabs. You don't have to stay on it. But if you close the tab completely, that would shut the note taker down. So don't close the tab. That's a big no-no. And then I see a lot of people do this, so just kind of this is my way of helping you not do it. We see a lot of people forget to stop their note taker. We had one person that did this and then they left for the weekend, and their computer for some reason didn't fall asleep, so they had like a 95-hour meeting. That was they had to submit to Jump. So I don't recommend forgetting to stop your note taker. Okay, and then the other piece, just like the mobile app, you will need to click that submit button when you're done. Okay, so stop it and submit it. Those are some of the biggest tips that I can share with you. Okay. All right, now that's in-person meetings. Oh, one thing I didn't really mention is if you need to do a dictation or a voice memo, follow those same steps that I just covered. Use the mobile app, use the computer microphone, click into a meeting, click the new meeting button, right? You can use this for in-person meetings or dictations, whatever you're more comfortable with. Okay. Now, let's talk about phone calls. Before I go over phone calls, just so you know, some organizations that we work with, they do have mandatory settings that their child accounts have to adhere to. So if you know you're signed up and you're under like a specific configuration, you may not have access to all of the features that I have access to as I'm demoing here. To see if you have access to everything, click on the new meeting button. Okay, that'll show you pretty much what you can use the note taker for. I have this option here called Join My Call, and this is a really easy tool to use for getting the note taker to join my phone call. For example, let's say I get a call from someone, so I'll answer the phone, I'll realize it's a client, I'll say, "Hey Jim, do you mind if I put you on a hold for just a moment? I need to get my note taker on the line." Okay, what I'll do is I'll click on Join My Call. I'm going to enter my phone number in this box that it's giving, and then I'm going to click that call now button to get the note taker to call me. Okay. So what happens is I'm going to get a call, I'm going to answer it, and then I'll need to merge the call with the client on the other end. Okay. So as long as you guys know how to merge calls, conference calls, it's pretty easy. This is one I do recommend practicing with so you feel comfortable with it before you go use it in a real meeting. We do have Join My Call on the app, so if you have access to it in the website version, you can also find it in the app. Go to the Today tab here, and then you'll see it right up here in the top right corner. Okay, works the same way. Put your phone number in, the note taker calls you, and then you merge the call with the person on the other end. Okay. All right, great. Okay. We do integrate with VoIP systems. I didn't see anyone using one, so I won't go over it unless you want me to. But we do also integrate with some VoIP systems, and it's a little easier than Join My Call. So, yeah. So someone said, I have years worth of old-fashioned physical notes. Can I upload? What's a best practice on this? This is a really good question. I actually get asked this a bunch. So if you have the option to upload, what I would recommend doing is clicking the new meeting button in the top left corner. And if for some reason the physical notes are also in a recording somewhere, you could upload that recording, just upload recordings, and then we'll generate notes that way. The other way, and this is a bit more manual, but you could have someone, either it's you or it's somebody else, you could say, hey, I'm going to go in, I'm going to click the new meeting button, and then I'm going to start a dictation, and then I can go ahead and just dictate those notes. Again, I know that's probably not the best way to go about it, but that could be a good way to do it. Yeah, we basically need, if you're going to bring something to Jump, you either have to turn the note taker on and talk out loud, or if you do have a recording, you can upload it. So those are your two options. With that being said, we actually are working on a something like that, Donna, so that you don't have to do the more manual processes, because we realize a lot of people have older physical notes. So that is something that we definitely are aware people are running into, and we're looking on ways to upload that. We are about to ship a document upload type of feature, so I know it's something that we're working on, and I think we're getting closer and closer to it. Okay. Okay, great question. All right, so we've talked about note taking. How does the note taker work? How do you use it? Now let's talk about post meeting. How do you find your notes? How do you get them into your CRM? What does that process look like? Your meeting notes are going to live under the meetings tab, and then they're going to be found under all past. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click over to all past, and then you'll just simply scroll down until you'll find your meeting. If Jump has notes ready for you, you're going to see something like this. There's these little gray boxes that show up. These are basically outputs. So it's like a note output, an email output. So this means, hey, the meeting's finished processing. You can click into the meeting and you can begin to review the notes and the recap email and everything else. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Now, sorry, I saw we have a question come in, so let me just address that question really quick. Okay, so someone said they found that Jump excludes summarizes communication. It doesn't view as relevant. So there may be some pieces of the meeting that you did want included in your note, but Jump it just isn't pulling it. So the question is, how do we dictate Jump and ensure all the speech is converted to text? So I'm going to answer that question directly, and then I'm going to give you a tip. Okay. Now, Jump, we tell the prompts, hey, you're a note taker for advanced financial advisors. You need to format the note, and here are the specific topics that we want you to focus on, like wedding fund, retirement planning, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now that's what it's looking for, so it may exclude something that maybe it's just like something you specifically go over in your meetings. If you want to find the entire transcript and read the word for word what was talked about, that is something that we store right up here in the top right corner, right next to that lightning icon. Be aware that just like I said before, organizations, parent accounts can lock down features. They may have set up an auto deletion for your transcript either immediately or after a certain period of time. So if you don't have access to the transcript, just know that's why. Okay. Now, right here in the transcript, I mean, you can read through the entire meeting. This is what is word for word. Okay. If you have something, and if you've noticed that Jump is excluding something and you want Jump to include that in the notes every time, that would be something I recommend you request from our customization team, because we have a lot of people we've worked with that say, hey, I have this form I want Jump to fill out instead of using the default template that it tends to use for the notes, or a recap email. The recap email that I type, it usually looks a little different from this, and I'd like Jump to use that format. Okay. That all falls in the realm of customization. I'm going to talk about that here in a second, so just keep that in mind. You'll wanna request customized help, and I'll go over that here in a bit. Okay. Now, Your notes are going to show up here right under the meeting notes tab. And if you scroll down, you're going to see that beautiful summary. So we'll go ahead and scroll down here. Da, 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 da. All right. And what we encourage you to do is review your note first and see if there's anything that you do want to change or add. Like that one person said, hey, there's some things that sometimes I want to include. Okay. You can edit this note by clicking the edit button. It'll be right here at the very top. Boom, and then you can go in and make whatever changes you need to. And then when you're ready, you're going to see this button that shows right up here at the top. It's going to show your CRM symbol that you're integrated with. And you're going to click on that button to sync the note over. Okay? You're going to click on that button. Uh, you're going to search your CRM for the person that you met with. So I know this was with a meeting with Ken. And then I know we also met with Ken's brother here, Ty. So we'll go ahead and find Ty. Okay, great. And then if we scroll down, if you needed to edit the note again, you could just click into there. If not, you just scroll down. For Redtail specifically, they require a category. So I'm going to choose a category here. Okay. And then when you're ready, you just hit that sync button. And it's as simple as that. So edit your note and then click into that sync button in the top right corner. Make sure that it's connected to the right people, and then you go ahead and click sync there. Okay. All right. Sorry, we had a question come in here. My thing is taking forever to load. So let me pull that up here before I keep moving. Oh, it's just the same question. Okay, we'll go ahead and mark that as answered. Okay, now the other thing that you can sync over are these follow-up tasks that Jump is going to generate for you. Those are going to show up here on the right side under follow-up tasks. What I recommend doing is go right to the sync button with your CRM symbol. Just click on that button and then make any changes you need to from here. So if you need to change the assignee task, or if you want to, for Redtail, you have access to your templates, you can access those. If you want to change it so you can sync to a workflow, edit the title, right? Everything here is editable. You don't have to do it from the previous screen. So do that. Make sure that you've related these tasks to the right account, the right contact, and then you're going to click that sync button right down there to sync your tasks over. Okay. So when you hit that sync button, boom, that's going to log your tasks over. And at this point, you synced your notes, you synced your tasks. Now you can review the recap email that Jump is going to draft for you automatically. That recap email will also show up here on the right side, which you can access just simply by clicking on Client Meeting Recap Email. Okay, boom, there's your recap email. Like everything, if you need to edit it, use that edit button down there. When you're ready, you can copy and paste the recap email over, send it like that, or you can click the Open in Gmail or Open in Outlook button and you can send it that way. Okay. Now, to the customization question, what if you have a recap email template you want Jump to use? What if you have certain information that, Jump isn't really set up to catch initially with this template and you want to upload a new one? All of that falls under the realm of customization, and you're going to request help by clicking on the chat bubble here in the bottom right corner of your screen. And then you're going to use the option that says fill out this form to customize your or your firm's Jump experience. Okay. What we do is you fill out this form, you request it, and then our customization specialists go into your account free of charge and we edit your account for you. We upload the templates. When we're done editing, we'll send you an email and ask you to take a look and see if everything looks okay. And then you'll have that new template uploaded moving forward. So that's how customization works at Jump. Because we have someone in this call that uses Salesforce, I think it's also worth to call out that a lot of times Salesforce has these custom fields, custom objects, like maybe you use something other than just the classic note. We can help you map Jump to your CRM so that your notes are landing in the right place. Now, we can do that for any CRM. It's not just Salesforce, but I tend to see that conversation happen the most when people use Salesforce. Okay. So if you guys need help with that, I would recommend clicking on this little chat bubble, using that little button here that says send us a message, let us know what questions you have, and we can work with you to map to your CRM. Okay. If you guys already know where you want your notes to land, just feel free to use the customization form and tell us, hey, I want my notes to land here, and we can help you out there. But yeah, this chat bubble that I'm referencing, it's going to be your best friend for using Jump. So I highly recommend if you guys run into any questions, use that little chat bubble. When you click on that chat bubble, you'll be speaking with one of our product specialists. All of our product specialists live right here in Utah. They work right here in the office with me, and they're fantastic. I can't emphasize that enough. So if you guys get a chance and you need help, reach out to our product specialist team, and we're more than happy to help you out. Now, before I wrap things up, I did want to go over the financial planning integration because we have a few people that are using that. So the way that works is you're going to see this button that shows up on the right side of your screen. And remember, if you use eMoney, just replace when I'm saying Right Capital for eMoney. You're going to see a button that says suggested Right Capital record updates. And then you're going to go into that button and you're going to click it. And what Jump is saying is it says, hey, we went into Right Capital and we took a look at this household that's selected, and we looked at all the info for that household, and then we compared it to what you talked about in the meeting. And if we heard there was any differences between those two things, those two sources, then Jump is going to recommend these record updates. These record updates don't get automatically pushed over to Right Capital or eMoney, so you can come in here, review what the update suggestions are, and then decide which ones you want to accept. And then when you're ready, you click that update button right down there at the bottom, and boom, that's going to update eMoney or it's going to update Right Capital right from Jump.